You know that guy?
Hey all, Jedz here, and I'm kind of just doing an update today on the just a highway review, touring review. So I'm on a 577 mile ride. It's not a big, it's a decent sized ride. I've been on longer with this bike. So, you know, my bike's a 2018 Triumph Bonneville T120. It's got it's going to come up to 22,000 miles. And I just want to kind of go through like some of the gear I use and some of the technique I use. This bike tours pretty well, actually. A lot of folks will say, oh, well, you know, it's not a touring motorcycle, you know, it's just a standard motorcycle. And I mean, it is. It's a standard bike. It's a modern classic. But, I mean, Triumph did a really good job with this bike. You can really tour well with it. Anyway, so the goal for touring on this thing is really, you know, my legs, I break it up into legs. So my goal is to do about 150 miles. The tank gets about anywhere from 170 to 190, depending on mileage. I try to keep my gas mileage right around the 45 to 50 miles per gallon mark. I could probably squeeze a little more if I went a little slower, and I have. I can really stretch this tank. I've seen nearly 200 mile tanks, but you're sitting on the motorcycle longer, and for me, it's all about stretching and moving and keeping your body physically fit. So, you know, at 100 miles, I'm actually got to do a stretch right now. Let's do a stretch, get my rear feet on the passenger foot pegs, stand up, and I flex all my muscles. Do a little shake, shake. And I mean, I've got highway pegs, I've got my standard pegs, and I use, you know, my passenger pegs, and I'm always variable in my seating. And the thing about this bike, it's got a bench seat, and if you're moving around on it a lot, you're able to stay pretty comfortable. So like I said, I'm doing 577 today. That's my mileage. It's really not that hard. Not hard at all. I've done 1,000 mile days on this bike, and those are pretty tricky, just because it takes a lot of endurance to do that. So anyways, hope you don't mind the tunage. It's just going to be playing this time. So I try to break it up about 150 miles. So it gives me about 150 miles, which is like a 30 mile reserve. Definitely enough room between exits on the interstates like this. You know, slabbing is just a necessary evil, especially if you're like me and you're like, I gotta go to Indiana, I gotta go to Tennessee, gotta go to Florida. You just gotta use the interstate. You just have to. So it's really a good technique to use, you know, to try to keep it going. So for rule one, don't eat a lot of food. Like, I know you're ready, you're all set, and you want to go and you want to have a great, you know, meal and get you energized, but that meal is actually going to really wear you down and make you really tired, because your body goes into a conservative mode when it ingests a bunch of food and energy. It doesn't need to use all that energy at once, so it's going to try to store it. To do that, it's going to put you in a sedative state, make you sleep. Second thing, so what I do when I'm on the road is I don't actually eat. I will maybe grab a light lunch, like a salad, if I need to eat something, but I'm just drinking water, you know, and I try to drink about I do my trips in 100, the song's playing, so I'm saying something. So, in about 150 miles, I do a leg. That's when I get my fuel. That's when I go to the restroom, and that's where I drink a quarter of a bottle of water to a half a bottle of water, depending on temperature. And this also allows me to balance my hydration so that I'm not having to urinate every single time. I'm urinating every other time. So that allows me to do a roll and go every other gas fill. So this next fill I'm going to be going through, I'm going to be rolling through the gas station, lift my helmet, I'll text the person I'm going to, let them know where I'm at, text the person I'm coming from, let them know where I'm at, and I always text my fiance to let her know where I'm at. So it's simple. I did a screenshot of my Google Maps, my location, and that's it. And or stop number. So I'll be like, fuel stop 2, South Carolina, and then I'll send them a picture. And that's it. That's all I send. So I don't eat on the road. I just, and especially it's so hard because you see Arby's, you see Subway, you see all these awesome foods like Bojangles. Oh, I love Bojangles. Love Bojangles. But I will not eat Bojangles when I'm on the slab, just because it turns me into a giant slug and I'm ready to pass out at some point. So, standard features, the heated grips are awesome, and you'll be, look at those, Chinooks. No, those are Apaches. Those are freaking awesome. So, that's why I love riding, dude. You see such cool stuff on the slab. So, heated grips, essential. And you'll be surprised. You'll use them when you don't think you're tired or you feel a little chill. You just turn those on and they actually warm you up. I've used them in Florida. Even yesterday, I was 80 degrees out or 70 degrees out, and I was like, I'm a little brisk. Turn them on, felt really comfortable. They're great for maintaining that comfort level. The other thing I have on this bike, and I'm going to tell you, it's the absolute bee's knees if you're a tourer, is cruise control. And I will never buy another motorcycle as my primary without cruise control again. Cruise control is so freaking critical. Because look at it, I'm like relaxed, I can put my feet in any position, I can let go of the throttle, I can put my foot up, I can relax, I can do whatever. I will say, in South Carolina, it's really hard to use your cruise control because there's jack wagons in the left lane that go slow, fast, so and I found that I tried to shoot for that 45 to 50 mile per gallon mark. I'm currently running a 48.9 mile per gallon trip average. I reset that every day. And I use my instrumentation. Trip 1 will be the day I travel. So if I go on a trip, I will use trip 1 to understand, to know how many miles I've gone in the day. Trip 2 gives me the total mileage. So my total mileage so far for this trip is 1,883 miles. And then it has an active mile per gallon, which is great for me because I use it to kind of, minus my cruise, there it goes, to kind of make sure I'm hitting my 50. I try to keep it north of 50 because if you accelerate, decelerate, your gas mileage is gonna tank out. So, like I said, I try to keep it right around that 45 to 50 mile per gallon mark so that I can get my 150 mile range on my tank. And that is my standard. So I try to do 150, I get off the bike, I do a quick stretch, fill up. Sometimes I'll just use the bathroom every other trip. If I'm going big miles, like 800 plus, I'll break the day up in half, do 2 400-mile sittings. So I'll get some food or lunch, light lunch, salad. But today, it's a smaller day, 577 miles, so I'm gonna just plow out the whole thing. So my first trip, first stop I went to the bathroom, put in some Aleve, put in some ibuprofen. I'm gonna tell you, that's the trick, man. Make sure you put some Aleve in and ibuprofen in. There's no shame at all taking meds. It actually is gonna help you relax, and your muscles will be so much happier the next day. And people will say, oh, your liver, burr, and then, yeah, okay, well, you know what, if you knew me, you know how much I drink, so two little blue pills and a couple brown pills aren't gonna hurt you. I also have Excedrin, just in case you get a migraine, which I do. Sometimes you get stuck behind a diesel, or you just have a bad high pollution area, or Ohio sometimes can kind of be brutal. If you go across Ohio from Cleveland, Columbus to Cincinnati, that can be kind of a brutal run sometimes. Super bright, you need to pop an Excedrin to get rid of a migraine. So always keep Excedrin on you, ibuprofen on you, Aleve on you. Really, 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 really critical. No shame in using pain, NSAIDs, which are non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, over-the-counter meds, basically. Don't use anything that's prescribed, please. You want to keep sharp. So yeah, and then that's the other thing is like getting your moisture control. You obviously don't want to get dehydrated, but you don't want to drink too much either, because then you're going to be stopping a lot more. You know, just keep an eye on it. Like today, it's 60s, 70s, so there's no sun. I'm not really getting blasted. I'm drinking, you know, I drink half a bottle of water. I'll drink the rest of it when I get gas. So by the time I get to my third fuel stop, I'll need to use the restroom, which is good. Yep, come on over. And yeah, so those are just some great tips, you know. Like I said, if you're in riding a T120, for example, I highly recommend getting the engine guard so you can put highway bars on, the highway pegs. Highway pegs go a long way. You need to do stretches. I do stretches about every 50 miles, so 3 times in one leg I'll do stretches, and it's really a science to it. It really is. And you know, it's all about being safe, staying awake. If you feel tired, take a nap, get off the road. If you feel like crap, call it a day. Make sure you keep your credit card on you, because you know, sometimes you just need to stop. Sometimes you can only put 200-300 miles on and you gotta go, you know, I'm not feeling the ride today. You're gonna be safer by just taking the day to rest, relax. You know, I keep a pair of swim trunks on me, get a hotel with a pool, take a nice swim, cool down, relax, get refreshed, and then start the next day and just attack it. So those are my pointers. Eat light, NSAIDs. Get multiple foot positions going. Do stretches every 50 miles. Try to keep your legs around 150 miles. Some folks can go 200 in your big touring bikes, but I'm not gonna. This video is not for people with big touring bikes. This is guys that are looking to tour on a standard motorcycle like this, something that you can do, you know, your sport touring on, or you can do, you know, you can just ride your modern classic. Okay, bud, I get that you want to be in my lane, but you need to keep pace. So anyways, that's all I've got. I got to get back on focusing here because I've got a lot of traffic filtering through. I got this Harley Davidson that's being a total guy, getting merged on in front of me, but now he's not going to keep pace correctly. So I got to get around him. So I'm going to let you go. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope these pointers on how to tour with your T120 are helpful. Thanks. Best.